Good morning, class. Today we are going to discuss the rock cycle. By the end of this lesson, all students will be able to identify 3 different types of rocks, differentiate how those various rocks are formed, and identify environment in which these rocks are formed. Some key definitions are weathering, erosion, sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So weathering and erosion, they sound similar, however they do differ greatly. Weathering is the process of breaking down rocks into smaller pieces over time, which you can do with wind, ice, gravity, and water. And erosion is the process of moving that weathered rock and soil from one place to another, which can of course also be done with wind, ice, gravity, and water. This is just a recall from a previous lesson, but check your notes for the actual processes in which wind, ice, gravity, and water. So we had talked about sediment previously with the weathering and erosion, and they work together to form sedimentary rocks. A sedimentary rock is a rock that is formed by sediment that has laid down. It has been compacted with increased pressure, multiple layers on it. Cementation, which is whenever the rock particles are stuck together. And then with increased pressure, the sedimentary rock forms. As noted on the picture of the left, you can see the layers in the sedimentary rock that are formed. There are 2 different types of igneous rocks. There are extrusive igneous rocks, which are formed outside of a volcano on the Earth's surface or on the sea floor at the mid-ocean ridges. Those rocks cool very quickly and have very minimal crystal growth. In contrast, intrusive igneous rocks form inside the Earth's surface whenever they cool over a very small time. When that is happening, the crystals have time to grow, and some of them will be larger than a classroom. Metamorphic rocks are formed when a great deal of heat and pressure act upon either igneous or sedimentary rocks. They are formed deep underground, and when they are forming due to igneous rock formation, usually there is molten rock that bubbles up, and the rock around the molten rock heats up and is experiencing all of the pressure, and it causes a chemical change in the rock. And you might end up with something such as marble, which is a pretty common rock that we're all familiar with in terms of countertops or buildings. It can also happen from pressure from plate movement because there's a lot of friction. Friction causes heat. There's a lot of pressure there as well, and as the plates move and the buckles and folds. Now it is your turn. You are either Sally or Sam's sediment, and you have to travel around the rock cycle. Around the room there are 5 envelopes labeled sediment, sedimentary rock, igneous rock, metamorphic rock, and magma. Inside each of those envelopes are clues. I will give you the number for the station that you are to start at, and when I say go, you will move to that station and select one clue from the envelope and record it on a sheet of notebook paper. You will then return the clue to the envelope, and when I say go, you will move to the next step in the rock cycle. For example, if you're at the igneous station and I say that you are weathered and eroded on that clue, then you're going to move to sediment. You're going to use your trip around the rock cycle to write your rock biography, which is, of course, the story of your life as that rock. I will also expect your biographies to have illustration.